Yoruba proverb he said then. He said, because I think he's been told so many things, and he said something which I took with me. He said, it's a Yoruba proverb. He said, Oju orun tanwe, otueye fo life yara koran.
What that means for a non-Yoruba speaker is, the skies are big enough for every bird to fly without running into each other.
So that was what he told us, and it was like, look, we should do what we want to do, but what he's going to advise us, we shouldn't take
any of the clients.
That we shouldn't do that. And we said, okay. And one thing I'll say, going back to the humble beginnings, because we are now thrown out into the market when we're not ready. Because initially we were pushed out. we were sourcing for funds, looking for directors here and there, trying to start big. But we didn't get funds coming from anywhere. And when all that happened and we had to leave, there was something that he did. I only worked with him for 9 months. I wasn't entitled to, yes. I wasn't entitled to anything, but the man sat down. I was paid a month's salary. It's funny, usually you pay in lieu. He paid me a month's salary. He paid me my medical allowance. We have this medical allowance, annual medical allowance. If you don't use it up, you get what you don't use. It was calculated, it was prorated for 9 months, which was given to me. And there was this money issue I had when I left my former company. There was this robbery incident, I had to pay back the money. Anyway, so there was a balance outstanding. He paid back. He paid it off. He said he was giving me all those funds so I could settle that end completely and have a free whatever to go ahead with whatever I wanted to do. So I was paid all that money, and then that sum was deducted and paid back to my other company. And at the end of it all, we had just about 10,000, just a little left from that. And that was what we started KWT with. We now had to share the money amongst it. No, because they weren't paid any salary.
Meanwhile, in my own case, I just resumed after my wedding ceremony and all that. So I took some loan in the office.
In this your office where you were both?
Yes, working. So when I resigned and I was about leaving, when the man heard that we are doing something, I said, well, that they have to deduct all the money that I owed the company and all that. At the end of the day, I was given a check of 3,400 and something. So I took the check. I wasn't even feeling bad. I said, okay, no problem. Let me have my check. I got the check. Only for me to get to the bank. I didn't even look at the date. It happened on 14th of May.
You guys remember?
So I made a photocopy of that check.
That's part of your story.
Exactly. I had it at home and I filed it that a day is coming. You know,
tell the story today.
Yes, and today is today. You know, I don't even think I have the opportunity. You know, so I got to the bank and I presented the check. The cashier collected the check, and only for him to come back and say that sorry, the check is posted that I should look at the date. I said, wow, 31st, 3,000 something. So what am I going to live on? So, you know, I felt so bad. I felt so bad that I was not paid gratuity. I was not paid any bonus, nothing. I didn't receive anything. So 3,000 something, that is the only money that I deserve for 3 years that I worked there. You know, and you postdated it. It's bad. It's not good.
You can see two different scenarios.
That's what
I had it nice, and it was just, we've been back to that office a couple of times to see the same man and everything.
But let me say how, you know, so that the viewers can understand, you know, we as employers of labor must handle the people that work with us right, because life is ever changing.
You're right.
The man that you see today that seems like a nobody, you don't know what he's going to become tomorrow.
You're right.
What if you become the Minister of Communication or the Information Minister or whatever for the country, and you had to deal, or you have to deal with ad agencies in terms of doing some major assignments for the country and all that, and then your former boss and her former boss, the two agencies, are bidding for jobs under your supervision. Naturally, your memories of both will be different.
Right.
And if they're both competent, you're likely not to forget that the attitude of Toyosi's boss affected your ability, the ability of the three of you to start the company, as opposed to the attitude of your own boss that you served.
Yeah.
And all of that will always come into play one way or the other. Like Toyosi said, two separate bosses, two separate scenarios. I'd like us as the viewers to think. Most of the time is our own sense of insecurity that makes us to consider every person around us as a threat. If a man works for you, he's still the master of his own life. You don't own the person that works for you. He's obliged to you to the extent of the service for which you pay for. But the rest of what that man gives is as he or she wants to give to you or to your company. Also, relationships are not terminal. Life is so short. Why do we want to live as if there's no tomorrow? And the world is so small. Every person we interact with today, we don't know what part they will play in our life of tomorrow. That people that work for us want to move on should not become a matter of war. It should be a matter of policy and relationship. There's certain things that are not allowed. It is not allowed for you to want to leave your employer and steal all their information in order to use for yours. If the seed that you use to plant is stolen, what you will reap will also be stolen from you because it's a bad seed. It's not allowed for you to take your boss's client to say, oh, I want to go and set up my company, and all the people you're going to look for business are the people that are your company's client. If you trust God for the business you're about to start, the Lord will send you your own clients and you will develop your own customer base. Now, if your boss's clients of their own leave that company and come to you, there's nothing you can do about that. That means there's something they're not getting there. And whether it's to you or to somebody else, they will eventually leave and go and seek for a service. But your hands must be clean. You mustn't steal from them. The way Kemi and Wale's boss handled them at that point would have been right if they had done illegal or fraudulent things. And the way Toyosi's boss handled her is the way a father handles a child. He saw a young woman or three young people with their own ambition, and he blessed them and sowed into what they wanted to do. Whatever they become tomorrow, this is 7 years after, they're sharing their story today, and they share this story. You don't know all the people involved, but there are probably some people watching us who know them and know these companies. But anytime they write the story of KWT, they will always remember him and they will bless him. And if they come across his children somewhere along the line, they will bless his children because he sowed a good seed into their life. Life is a cycle. It's always moving on. Let's do what is right. Things will always change around you, but always make an effort to build relationships. Never burn the bridges of your relationships. The way you handle them is what determines if you can walk back over that bridge to see them when you need them, or never be able to walk back. What is good about this story is that what you've just heard is not the end of it, because they'll tell you what then happened after and how that relationship was rebuilt. You were telling me about your boss and what happened some years ago. First you told me about Wale's anger. Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay, actually, I'm a kind of a person that I don't let go easily.
Okay.
I'm a very simple person, but I don't like people cheating me or getting me mad. You know, I withdraw to my share. So when this situation happened, because I know what I have put into that company, so I felt disappointed. I felt betrayed, and I made up my mind. There was a time Toyosi's boss was marking his birthday, so he invited all of us, and
The nice boss.
Yes.
We're going to dub him the nice boss.
We got
and God
there.
bless him wherever he is.
Amen.
And I pray that there are more bosses like that.
Amen.
Yes.
And we got there, and I told them, I'm not going to greet this man. They started begging me. I said, why?
You didn't want to greet your
I
ex-boss.
didn't want to greet my ex-boss because of what he has done to me, that it was quite unfair, you know. And the unfortunate thing is that till today, I supposed to, at least as a member of the staff, I just got married. I supposed to get my own wedding gift. That is it. That is the
So
tradition.
you never got a wedding
I never got the wedding gift
from the company.
Then instead of giving me my money with it, they postdated it again. You know, all those things, you know. So I said, I'm not going to greet him for all those things, but they appealed to me. And when we got
you see the influence of women.
yes, they appealed to me, you know. So when I got there and I greeted everybody, all the same, I didn't greet him. So I went back to my seat. But maybe he felt...
No strife will get you into
Yes.
trouble. That's what the Bible says.
You know, maybe he realized a lot of things, and he came to me. He used to joke with me when we were together, when I was working with him. He's a friendly person. I like him so much. I love this man. I can walk Sunday, I can walk any time of the day. I love him. So that was why
You were so
I was so
disappointed.
disappointed. Because of the love I have for him, you know. And it was the same thing. Everybody, well, myself and Toyosi, then we were living in Egbeda. 5 o'clock, we wake up. We were beating ourselves. Who will first get to the office? Egbeda to Obalende, Lawson Street. Who first get to the office? In fact, it was just a family thing, you know. So that was why I was disappointed. But along the line, they were appealing to me that life is not like that, life is not like that. I said, okay. So one day, I said, okay, no problem that one day I'll go and greet him and all that. Fortunately for us, business was going on fine. We bought Primera then, 2.2. We bought 3 Primera.
You bought 3 cars at the same time. Wow.
It was God favor.
So I said, yes. I said, God, I give you thanks because the smaller car I was using is not something to, but I respect that car. You know, it was that car is from generation to generation. They understand. You know, so I said, okay, now that God has done it, I think I have to go to these people. Let me go and greet them.
You wanted to show off your
Sure.
That's true.
God has done it too. And I went there and he was happy. He was happy to meet me. And
He received us
he
very well.
received us very, very well. And you know, that was it. And we are best of friends. He used to relate with Kemi and all that. So, and whenever they want to do anything, when they were marking their 10th year anniversary, they invited the 3 of us and we talked them. We are best of friends now.
Now you have a good relationship.
Yes.
So everything ended well.
Everything just ended.
As we wind down on this discussion, I want to ask them as a closing about, you know, their goals, the short-term goal at the point of starting and their long-term goal, and what do they think can destabilize this partnership? What can happen that would, and have they thought about some unexpected incidences that can happen? And life is full of surprises. Who's going to take me on first?
Well, I'd like to say we're optimistic, nothing bad would happen. But you never know, anything could happen.
When I say anything will happen, it doesn't have to be bad.
Okay.
You know, it could just be a challenge or a change. Change happens all
All the time, yes.
What if Wale gets an offer to run the largest ad agency in the country?
No, he's going into oil.
He's going into oil.
Definitely not another advertising.
Okay, so assuming that Wale has interest in oil and he gets invited to pursue that area of interest of his life, which is a passion, something he hasn't, that he's secretly guarded but that he would like to do, and he sees the perfect opportunity and he says, ladies, this is something I've always wanted to do, I haven't been able to do it, and now the door is open, I need to go. What will you guys do?
Well, what we'll do is this. We'll let him go. Why is this? Let me try and... There's some things that have happened over the years in our lives and in the life of KWT that has pointed towards this.
Okay, now I get it. KWT is Kemi Wale and Toyosi. I just got it as she said it. Okay.
It's we've always, it's not, yes, we have a common interest, which is advertising. That is why we have KWT. But along the lines, we found out that we've had interest, we all have interest in a lot of funny things. Let me bring this out now. I mean, something that has been kept quiet. People don't know about it. But I had this feeling about properties. And we went into property.
And you went into it. But you're all three of you are
We're all three. But you see, the way it is this. It's like going into it as an all out, having, how do I explain this now? But it's like something they know that I have an interest in and which I discuss with them. Okay. And in a way, they give their blessing that if I have interest in it,
invest in it as well.
And they will be very okay with it. And there's a friend of mine who is in property, which eventually made me go into it, and that is on the side. Okay. So what I'm saying in effect is this: if anybody decides to move on with life, you see, we cannot cage ideas like we said initially. Yeah. And we all have other burning desires. Yeah. Like you said, in the short term, you have some things that we could work around. But in the long term, so something could change. And somebody wants to do something else. We're planning right now to take the company to another level. Okay. That would be, in a way,
beyond the three of you.
Beyond the three of us. And would excuse the three of us to be able to do
other things.
Yes, because yes, it's a partnership now, but we're taking it higher than that. Okay. Because, like we said, offset. We're trying to bring in more people.
Okay, as investors.
Exactly. Okay. You said something while we were starting. You said, what is the essence of having 100% of nothing and having 30% of 100 billion? Let me say 100 or 500 billion. So that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to take KWT beyond the three of us. We're trying to bring in people, give out shares, even if it's just 30% of the new KWT that we have. It will be enough, and it will give us the chance to pursue other things we want to do individually. So, for example, my property dream, I can pursue properly. His oil exploration, whatever. Maybe he could get a block or two and fall. You never can tell, you know. But the common thing is still KWT, and I'm sure that will still keep us together.
Yeah.
So that is basically how I would like to react to that.
What if someone passes on?
Actually, let me take that.
No, it's a reality.
Oh, sure, yes.
In partnership, because the partnership of three now, and we've already decreed none of you is going before your time. You will see your children's children and fulfill all purpose and all that. But we're living in a real life and things happen. Yeah. Now, none of it is going to happen to you, but part of why a lot of partnerships get into trouble is a lot of issues are not dealt with, including issues of death. Yeah. And assuming it does happen, then what?
That's why I said, let me take that question. The level in which we are now,
yes,
I think love reigns supreme.
Okay.
And that is a very key issue.
Okay.
For instance, I can categorically say what can happen if I'm not around. Okay. God forbid bad thing for now.
Yes.
But I know what they can do.
Okay.
When I'm not around, I know what they can do.
You're confident?
Yes.
And that they'll take care of your wife and your children?
Everything.
And
because we
secured in each other.
We are like I mean, how do I even put it? You can't.
It's like a tripod.
Fine, we fight. No problem about that.
Okay. Do you have a legal document?
Sure.
Every business.
That is one thing we do. Business is business.
Okay.
Friendship is friendship.
So the terms of your partnership are clearly defined.
Yes.
Exit is defined in case there's an exit, or there's a need for exit. Not even exit in the time in terms of death is one. Exit as a choice is another.
Exit as a choice we've not prepared for, but I don't see it being a major problem, really. If for instance, at the point,
I'd rather you have it written.
Okay. No, now that we've talked about it, I think we'll look into it.
You see, those are part of the pitfalls that happens because people change. Circumstances change, situations come upon us. And I appreciate your trust for one another and I respect it. I appreciate your relationships and everything, both external relationships and amongst all three of you. But I'm saying to you, it's better to define things. Then there are no shades. Gray is not the same as black.
Yes.
White is white. It's not the same as cream. You know, you can sit down now that you have the chance to, and all three of you say, if I decide I want to leave tomorrow, what happens? How do I leave? What must I do? See, when you were going to leave the company you were working for, why you could be certain you did the right thing was that your service agreement says that for you to leave, you must give 1 month's notice.
Yes.
And you did that. Yes. So you knew you had done the right thing.
Exactly.
And so when they told you to go the way they did, you could feel bad because you knew you had not been disloyal to them in any way or handled them wrongly. I'm very proud of what you've done, and I'd like to really, really thank you for agreeing to come in to share with us your story and for being so honest about it and for bearing yourself, because that's what you've done. And I appreciate your spouses for the role they have played. And I pray that the Lord will continue to give them grace.
Amen.
You know, and I hope that you have times that maybe once in a quarter or in every 6 months or once in a year, the three families actually meet together to pray for the businesses. It would help. Because it also gives your spouses spiritual buy-in into the business as well. That way, what you're praying for, you're committed to. All right? And individually in your homes, pray with your own families for the business as well. You know, there are many other issues I would have liked to discuss, but it's okay. I mean, I would have liked to know, like, how do you decide, do you pay tithe as a company? Where do you pay to? How do you decide that and stuff? But we'll leave that for another day. I think you've tried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Wale, and thank you, Toyosi.
Thank you for having us.
Well, viewers, I hope you've learned. They have a fantastic story, and they've shared everything openly with you. I hope you've learned a lot from them in the past weeks we've been talking, and that at the end of the day, you will draw positively into your own partnerships that already exist, or your partnerships that are about to start, or into how you manage your staff that are moving on, or how you move on from where you are. Whichever angle this affects you from, I hope the Lord gives you all the wisdom that you need to do it right. It's been my pleasure to come into your life today. God bless you.